Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. 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 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. Oh, there's something about your love. Something about your love changes everything in my body. Oh, something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. 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 Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything.
Hey, good morning, Rooted Men. Pastor Tom, Firmly Rooted Ministries. Happy Monday morning. Please give me a thumbs up that the video and sound is working okay. My camera is acting up a little bit. I couldn't zoom it in. So now you see all my mechanisms, my microphone and all that kind of stuff. But I just want to make sure that, unlike last week, we're good to go. So let me know. And also hope that you got a chance to be a part of the Bible study and message yesterday. But if not, they're always recorded. They're out there on Rumble and Twitter and Facebook and especially YouTube. Aaron puts them into playlists, messages, and Bible studies. Brian Vlaming says that we're good to go. All right, very good. All right, and so does Chuck B. All right, let's see who's on board. We know those two are on board, but I'm on board in YouTube. Good morning, Rooted Men. I'm also on board on X. Great to have you guys on board. Let's see. Ken Gooch, good morning, fellow brothers in arms. There's Chris Connolly. Good morning. Bert Reggiani, good morning. Brian Vlaming, good morning. Greg Ray from Firmly to Greendale, good morning. Guys, great to have all of you. And Want to remind you that one of the things that we're working on Thursday night, and sure would love to have more of you men involved on Thursday, is kind of the rubber hitting the road. How do we get beyond just assenting that a verse is true, or I wish it could be true in my life, to actually making it true in our lives? I mean, actually rubber hitting the road. And we've been focusing on be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. And how can we wake up every day, live out our day strong in the Lord and in his mighty power? And this coming Thursday, we're just going to finish the next section, which tells us to put on the full armor of God so that we can battle the devil's schemes. I mean, it's clear. That's it. We have to be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power, because every day we wake up to a battle. We're in a war, man. We're in a fight. It's a spiritual one. We got to quit sleeping. We're slumbering and sleeping during the fight, and we've got to get up and we got to go. So that's just a sales pitch for the Thursday night's study. I am going to share some scripture with you. Matt Ryan did a great job in talking about the demoniac, the legions of demons on the Gerasean, on the other side of actually kind of like the Samaritan Gentile side of the Sea of Galilee. And he caused these legions of demons to go into these pigs, and thousands of pigs rushed down a steep bank and fell into the lake. And I am going to pick up on verse 14. I hope you can see it on your screen. Those tending the pigs ran off and reported this in the town and countryside. Tending the pigs, just like there were shepherds who tended sheep. Even if you were partially Jewish, it's funny, you might have a business where you let other people tend the pigs, but you were too high and elite to tend them, and then you would sell them to other people because you couldn't eat them yourself. But at any rate, there's just a little bit of a humorous thing in the midst of that verse. But needless to say, those who were taking care of the pigs ran off to tell their masters what happened. And so they ran into the city and let them know. When they came out to Jesus, they saw the man who had been possessed by the legions of demons sitting there dressed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. I want to lock in on that phrase, please, for a number of reasons. Even these doubtful, probably ticked off people who are lost their livelihood because thousands of pigs just jumped off a cliff. That's not what they're afraid about. Like the disciples who watched Jesus calm a storm, and they said, "Who is this that even the winds and the waves obey him?" These people are having to digest the fact that not only this guy they thought was nuts and crazy was actually demon possessed, two, that Jesus had the power and the authority to cast those demons into the pigs, three, that now this man is dressed and in his right mind. See, all they could do is chain him to things. That was their solution. They just chained him to things. And he'd break the chains and act like a madman and create scenes. And somehow in one moment, Jesus changed everything. He is there clothed and in his right mind, and they are afraid. Slightly reverent, but like this, it's a fear, like in awe, like not sure how to wrap my mind around what I'm experiencing. Those who had seen it told the people what had happened to the demon-possessed man and told about the pigs as well. Then the people began to plead with Jesus to what? What? Leave the region? Wait a minute. He just made a demon-possessed man whole again, clothed and in his right mind. We don't want anybody like that around. We don't want anybody that's going to like be healing people or setting people free. The loss of business and the awness of what to do with what Jesus did. They haven't. This is crazy. They plead with Jesus to leave the region. So different than the Samaritans when the woman from the well ran in. They begged Jesus to stay. Who wouldn't beg Jesus to stay? You know, after what we experience on a Sunday morning in worship and watching people's lives get changed and even sometimes healed and God moving in such powerful ways. Oh, no. Let's stop that, okay? Let's stop that. What? Huh. As Jesus was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon possessed begged to go with him. This is the first time, listen, this is the first time that Jesus contacted individuals and performed a miracle. And Jesus isn't the one who asks him to follow him. The man says, I want to follow you. So please, Jesus walked up to Peter, James, John, Matthew, come follow me. This is not what's happening. For the first time, this man is begging Jesus, can I follow you? Gentlemen, how about our begging? Begging Jesus that we might stop looking at it as a chore and that we get to follow the one who's redeemed and saved us, who's performed miracles in our lives. Jesus did not let him. He said no. But he commissions him. He commissions him. Go home to your own people and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you. This man's going to start a church. This man is going to go home, and because he is now clothed and in his right mind, they all know there was a time when he was not. And God had to do something. And his message was the God of the universe, the God of the Jewish nation. This is what he has done for me. He has had mercy on me. Could our message be that simple, yours and mine, that we would tell our neighbors, our friends, our family how much the Lord has done for us and how he's had mercy on us? Don't have to have some kind of big evangelism strategy, just how much God's done for us and how much mercy he's had on us. So the man did just that. He went away and began to tell in the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and all the people were amazed. Not only amazed, they believed, because in the early church, Book of Acts, you go to Decapolis and there's a church. There's already a church believing in Jesus. Jesus never just gives enough, but he always gives more and overflowing. He didn't just cast out the demons in this man. He made him, he put him in his right mind and then commissioned him. And by doing so, he goes out and he saves other people. The ripple effect. Go be my witnesses to Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, to the uttermost parts of the world. Tell your story. On this Monday morning, we got to be contemplating the fact that in many ways, we're like this demoniac. We were lost and now we're found. We were blind, but now we were see. We were demon possessed and now we've been set free. We were bound in addiction and we were set free. One way or the other, Jesus broke chains and set us free. Just like this man had chains break and was set free. And until we die, we have the responsibility to share our story. God's going to put somebody in your life and my life in which we can tell our story. Who this week? As we are strong in the Lord and in his mighty power, may God give us the wisdom and the discernment to see in a moment that right now God wants me to tell somebody part of my story, maybe my whole story. That God has put this person in my life and me in their life so that I might build that bridge and tell my story. Keep your eyes wide open, gentlemen, this week. Keep your eyes wide open and just see if you don't find one of those ways in which God has commissioned you. All right. I think that's it. Blessings on your day. Make it a firmly rooted day, and may someone see Jesus in us today. Peace.